Hey, what's up everybody? Mr. Dan here. Welcome back to the channel. And I just want to make a short video and just give a very sort of brief overall review of the TV series, The Rifleman, which I have just finished yesterday, as a matter of fact. And I was trying to time it very close to Christmas because I knew that the last episode, it's not really a Christmas episode per se. I don't think there are any trappings of Christmas in the episode other than that one of the characters, Johnny Crawford, the actor Johnny Crawford, who plays Mark McCain, sings the song Greensleeves, and he was quite talented with a guitar and as far as his singing voice goes. And I was aware, that's actually what inspired me to start watching the show. I saw a clip of that. I'm a fan of Greensleeves. It's one of my favorite sort of old school, like old school, I guess you would say, Christmas songs.
Alas, my love, you do me wrong to cast me off discourteously, and I have loved you so long, delighting in your company. Green sleeves was all my joy, and green sleeves was my delight. Green sleeves was my heart of gold, and who but my lady? Green sleeves.
So then I was like, yeah, I'm going to start watching the show. And I kind of got into it and I finished the whole series. As far as physical media, I only have this part of season 4, but they are readily available on multiple streaming sites, including YouTube on the Film Rise channel. It's the best way. That way you can kind of keep track of your progress. Just put it, bring up season 1 and it'll just list all the episodes and you go one from the other. 25-minute show, has an iconic opening where Chuck Connors, as Lucas McCain, is walking down the street and he is firing his custom-made Winchester rifle. It's got this ring around it, which allows him to spin it around and look cool and rapidly reload and be at the ready. And there are so many cool parts throughout the series where he got to do just that. I mean, kicking rifles out of people's hand and getting the drop on them and showing people how skilled he was even before, as a way of avoiding a fight, shooting targets or something along those lines. So yeah, the rifle was a part of it, but mostly this is actually like a family drama, as he is a single father raising his son. His wife passed away in a up-and-coming sort of town in the Old West. And it's a pretty solid show all around, for sure. There's some other sort of main characters. Early in the series, in season 1, he finds a destitute guy in the gutter and kind of cleans him up, and the guy turns out to have a law enforcement background, so he encourages him to sort of go straight and put the bottle down. And that guy is played by Paul Fix, who was a frequent co-star of John Wayne in many, many westerns, and he plays the Sheriff Micah McCain. So he's in a lot of the episodes. There's a lot of pretty cool characters that actually just kind of cycled through and left. There was a sort of potential love interest for Lucas McCain named Millie for a while, for about 16 episodes. And then I'm guessing the actress decided to leave. So then eventually Patricia Blair sort of stepped into that role in maybe the 4th season, or maybe it was actually in the 5th season, as Lou Mallory. She kind of comes in and starts running the general store a certain way and rubs people the wrong way. And then eventually her and Lucas get to be very friendly. Mark is actually kind of in mid to late teens by the time the show ends. So the final episode is a solid one. We don't really get a lot of closure. Lucas, I don't know if they knew that the show was ending or not. There are fewer episodes in season 5 than any of the other seasons, but not by a lot. Unlike Rawhide, which the 8th season was essentially half a season. So it just got canceled. Boom, canceled. It almost seemed like kind of they knew the end was near a little bit, because they kind of, Lucas doesn't hook up with the Lou Mallory character or anything like that. That kind of would have been nice to have some hints of that. But that's kind of out there as a possibility. And Mark is actually kind of hanging out with a young lady, and there's kind of signs that he's now aware of the opposite sex, and that they are actually very fond of each other. So they're kind of teasing that Mark is now sort of entering manhood. And the plot is almost kind of, knowing that it was the last episode, I was mostly kind of paying attention to the performances and kind of, getting nostalgic about a show that was on decades upon decades ago. I mean, Johnny Crawford's no longer with us. I mean, obviously Chuck Connors is no longer with us, but my gosh, this was a long time ago. But I was kind of focused on the character development. The plot is essentially, there's a guy named Old Tony. The episode is called Old Tony. He's a grump. He doesn't let people go through his land, and he has a conflict with another rancher, and Lucas and the sheriff kind of come to sort it out. But he's kind of lonely, so he lets Mark and this young lady kind of come in, and he's kind of a little bit grumpy. And at one point, Mark picks up a guitar, and he's like, the kids today don't know how to play that instrument. And Mark picks it up and does this rendition of Greensleeves and kind of captures Old Tony's heart for a moment. Apparently, he had a relative who used to sing that, who's no longer, was no longer alive. And eventually, look, this is an episode where somebody wanders away and gets stuck in quicksand, and will they rescue them? I mean, it's not a groundbreaking episode plot-wise, but it was just kind of cool to see that a lot of the characters there was some development, sort of, some hints of what the future was for some of these characters in the final episode. So if you want to find that clip of Mark singing Greensleeves, The Rifleman Season 5, Johnny Crawford sings Greensleeves. It's really good. Or if you want to watch the final episode, it's not going to, you don't have to go back and watch these in order, but I do recommend the whole series. But there are some really good episodes. Now, let me just mention one thing. The second to last episode was weird. It was weird. It was like a comedy episode. They were trying to spin off a series about this family that lives on the edge of town that had been on the show before, kind of rough around the edges and unsophisticated. They somehow... They left town because they screwed up their crops, and because they're very inept, and they ended up becoming law enforcement officers in a neighboring town. So for much of that episode, our regular characters weren't even in it, and there was even a few scenes where they had a laugh track, which was bizarre. It was like, what's going on here? Is this the Rifleman? Anyway, so the second to last episode is weird. Okay, I would not say watch that one first. Watch that one if you're watching the whole series. Apparently, there were a few other episodes where they tried to have a spin-off series, and I kind of missed that. I bet if I went back and watched them, I would be able to tell, because they would probably spend a little bit extra time on these characters that we have never met before. The one I was aware of was the successful spin-off series called Law of the Plainsman, where Michael Ansar played a character named Sam Burkhart. So we're introduced to the character, and then there was a spin-off series, and I think it lasted about 38 episodes. So like a season and a half maybe, or maybe that's just one season. He played a Native American who was actually a U.S. Marshal. And then he actually came back for another episode. So that was pretty good. That was good. I could, obviously, I was aware of that. Now, interestingly enough, my friend Anthony from Fever Dreamland Theater and we were just talking about Michael Ansar because we talked about some old school Outer Limits episodes, one of which was named The Soldier. And the soldier in question in that was played by Michael Ansar. So if you want to check out that live stream that I did with Anthony on my channel, that'd be great. Very interesting conversation. And look, this is the kind of series where I was aware of. Okay, so Sam Peckinpah was actually an early creator on this. Warren Oates, who would grow on to be in many Peckinpah films, he was in several episodes. Peckinpah would eventually leave, and other creative forces would sort of take over. A lot of directors like Richard Donner directed an episode or two. There were lots of great guest stars. Lee Van Cleef was in a couple episodes. An actor named Chris Alcade, who I was not really aware of. I ended up seeing him many times on Rawhide too, usually playing a tough guy. He was very good. I believe John Anderson has the most guest starring roles with 11. He played 11 different characters on the series. Dabs Greer was in 8 episodes. Whit Bissell, Michael Pate, I think, was in a few. So it's great to see all these sort of character actors. I really sort of learned a lot about a lot of these guys and have enjoyed seeing them in other shows like Rawhide. Very cool. Anyway, even if you're not a huge Western fan or a massive Western fan, I would check out Rawhide. I mean, I would check out Okay, go ahead and check out Rawhide. I would check out, which was also very good. I would check out The Rifleman. 25 minutes per episode. They go by quick. They're very good at compacting the story. I noticed. Some of these stories they could have taken longer to tell the story, but they talk about things that you didn't see, and it really moves the story along. So, what are your thoughts? Have you seen The Rifleman? And one more thing, if you're interested in seeing how many times Lucas has to use deadly force, some people have made clips, calling the clips things like the Rifleman Massacre. I mean, he ends up taking out dozens and dozens of people, even though it's not really that kind of show. Like I said, it's more of a family-oriented show. But in the course of the show, there are outlaws and cattle rustlers and escaped convicts and gunfighters, and sometimes, back in those days, you had to shoot. So if you want to see a compilation of him just blowing people away, that's on YouTube as well. I made myself wait till the end of the series before I watched it. It was kind of humorous to see that. But a great show. What are your thoughts? And also, I just wanted to basically put out a video today just so I could say, hey, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, everybody. And, there's plenty of things to talk about for the holidays, many movies. I thought I was going to rewatch a lot of Christmas horror movies. I didn't really get to it this year. Just even going through my collection, I found this. Holiday TV classics. Tons of stuff on here. I watched a few Christmas episodes of the old TV series on here. So plenty to talk about next year. So let me know what you guys are doing this holiday. What are you watching? And come back again for more reviews. And Merry Christmas. Thanks. Later.
The gown she wore like a maiden queen was velvet, like the sky above. Her sleeves were made of silk and green, and silk and green was my love. Green sleeves was all my joy, and green sleeves was my delight. Green sleeves was my heart of gold, and who had my lady green sleeves?
That was a nice sport.